Election Day 2020 might not be for another year and a half, but the campaign season is well underway, and all eyes are trained on the top job.
I'm running because we have to beat Donald Trump.
I'm running for president, quite frankly. It's just the stakes are too high.
I call him Con Don because he's a con man. I know his tricks. I know how to beat him.
But the 2020 elections aren't just about Trump or the White House. They're about Congress, too. And here in Massachusetts, 10 members of the state's Washington delegation are up for re-election, including Senator Ed Markey, who spent 37 years in the House of Representatives before running in a special election to replace former Senator John Kerry in 2013. Now, for the first time since then, he's facing a primary challenge. Shannon Liss-Riordan, a local labor attorney, has long represented workers in wage and labor disputes, including against corporate giants like Amazon. She won a $20 million settlement on behalf of Uber drivers. Liss-Riordan announced she was jumping into the race this week, and here she is. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Before we get to your campaign, you heard the discussion about the MFA. If you were a United States Senator today and you read in the Globe about what happened to those young kids, what would you say or do?
I just think it's completely shocking in this day and age, but there's so much we still have to do. There's a long way that our country still has to come on issues of race, and I think we need to be talking about this more, and we need to be realizing that these issues are very alive and well today.
Why are you running?
I am running because I want to offer the voters of Massachusetts a choice and a fresh perspective. I've been in the trenches fighting for workers for my 20-year career, and I've been seeing every way that corporate America is rigging the system to fuel their profits off the backs of working people, and I feel like we really need to make a change soon.
Is choice and a fresh perspective code for he's too old, he's been there too long, and he's a man?
No, not at all. I am
None
offering,
of those things?
I'm offering myself as a new perspective, as a woman, as a mother, as a workers' rights advocate, as an outsider. I think I offer a perspective that is what we need in Washington. I've been representing IBM employees who've been forced out of the company because IBM has been trying to shed older employees to build a younger workforce. So fighting discrimination is what I've been doing for my career. So
would it be, you're saying, so if a candidate like you ran against a candidate who was much older and been there a long time, and you said that age was a factor, that would be age discrimination on your part? I don't mean legal ages. I don't mean actionable, but is that, I mean, you think that's discrimination to suggest?
I'm saying that what I offer is a fresh perspective. I've not run for office before. I've not worked in Washington. I've been in the trenches fighting for working people, and I'm here to offer a new perspective.
I watched your video. You don't criticize nor do you even mention the guy you're running against. And the fact is, despite, and I appreciate how you're trying to advance your own thing, you're asking the voters to fire him, to hire you. They can't hire both of you, needless to say. So why does he deserve firing? You've given us a taste of why you deserve hiring.
I think there's a lot of energy out there and excitement about new candidates, new faces. I was incredibly energized by seeing what happened in the midterm elections. Ayanna Pressley, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez showed that with a passion, with strong beliefs and bringing together people who have not really felt part of the process, who may have felt left out of Washington politics and may not have felt that politics or campaigns spoke to them that outsiders can win and women can win. We need more women in Congress. We need more women in the Senate. I've been fighting for workers' rights and women's rights through my whole career, and I feel very strongly about that.
So what did you say to me a couple of minutes ago? The fact that he was a man was not part of the reason. It is part of the reason you're running.
Well, I'm offering my perspective as a woman, as a mother, as a workers' rights advocate.
Is Ed Markey a leader?
I'm focusing on what I have to offer for the people of Massachusetts, and I have been leading the way in a number of issues on fighting corporations that are trying to sidestep their obligations under the law. And I want to bring those skills and experience that I've been using fighting to enforce the law for working people. I see a lot of ways we now need to change the law, and that's why I want to go to Washington.
Okay, I'm going to try a different tact. Give me a couple of examples of where a Senator Liss-Riordan would have voted differently in the last couple of years than Senator Ed Markey. You don't have to say he should be fired. Just tell me or tell the voter, well, I'm a voter, tell the voters how you would have voted differently on any issue that matters to you.
Well, I I think it's really a matter of focus. My focus, obviously, is on labor issues and workers' rights issues because that's been my career and that's my expertise. I've also been a passionate advocate for women's rights and reproductive rights throughout my entire career. Going back to my days as a college student, I was a women's rights activist. Mm-hmm. I did reproductive rights work as a law student. Right after college, I was working for Bella Abzug in New York. I was an organizer in the women's movement.
Bit in New York City. She was unbelievable.
She was fantastic. She was a role model for me. I founded a young women's movement called the Third Wave to activate and engage young women and people of color and bring more people into the political process.
But Ed Markey's got a 100% rating from Planned Parenthood, so he's not a slouch. I mean, I don't mean to give you a headache, but should I assume that when I asked you how you would have voted differently and you didn't answer it, is because you don't want to talk about that, or that there aren't circumstances where you'd vote differently?
Well, again, my emphasis and my core knowledge is what's happening in the labor sphere. I would say that, one thing is that I think that our president should be impeached. Now, I think he's obstructed justice. I think he's stonewalling investigations. I think he's not fulfilling his constitutional duties, and I think he's an embarrassment to our country.
Do you think you think Nancy Pelosi's strategy, which we just discussed, Joe Malone and Michael Curry and I, is wrong? To essentially say, she seems to be saying it's going to hurt us in 2020, so we'll hold our fire now.
Well, I agree with Elizabeth Warren that there's not a political exception, an expediency exception to the Constitution. He's not fulfilling his constitutional duties. He is obstructing justice. He is stonewalling investigations, and I think he should be impeached.
Congratulations on your run. I hope we see you a lot in the coming months. Really appreciate it. Shannon Liss-Riordan, that's her bracelet. It's not me. Great to see you. Appreciate it.